So let's look to business administration, business and economic question. A plant can manufacture 50 golf clubs per day at a total day cost of 4,669 and 7 golf clubs per day for a total cost of this price. So here I should give some important explanation for the linear curve, okay, linear function. For the linear function, if you know the 2 points, okay, there are unique linear function. So here you have the unique linear function. This is a graph of the linear function. What is the form of the linear function? F of x equals or y equals mx plus b, or y equals mx plus b. So this is slope form. But we have another form of the lines. Let's discuss quickly. This point is, for example, x1, y1. This point is x2, y2, okay? So this is x2, this is x1, the value is y1, this value is y2, okay? The slope of the curve here, the slope is the tangent of this angle, okay? But directly I will write slope, this is slope, equals tangent alpha, so this length over this length. What is this length? y2 minus y1. This length is x2 minus x1. So y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1 is our slope. Okay, but sometimes slope given directly. But anyway, if you know 2 points, you can write the equation of the curve easily. On the example, I will show that. This is slope form. We have another forms of the linear function or linear equations. For example, y equals, okay, let's write this form. For choosing arbitrary point here, x and y, this slope and this slope are the same. Okay, let's write these two slopes. So x2 minus x, or okay, let's choose the x from another place. Actually, this is correct, but I want to write the two different slope. Okay, let's choose arbitrary point x here. Okay, this is the arbitrary point x and y. So I want to write this slope and I want to write this slope. These are the same. So x1 minus x, sorry, y1 minus y is the slope of this triangle, or actually this the slope of this triangle, slope of this line segment. But these are the same because on the same line, which equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So from here, you will obtain a new equation. So y equals, but these are the same equation. This is the equation of the line again. Y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1 times x1 minus x. Okay, so we should choose the slope in the other form. Okay, y minus y1, x minus x1. So here, this is x minus x1. Anyway, you can obtain, there is no problem, but quickly to write, I choose this one, y1. So this form is, not this form is, okay. Generally, we write another form. This is also correct, but point form, I try to write the point by point form. There are different forms, okay? But this is the equation of the line anyway, okay? So if you know the 2 points, by this formula, you can write the equation. But never I will use that formula. Always I will write the slope and I will calculate some points, okay? So what is the other forms of the line? Maybe I should write in the following form. Y equals y0. From here you can obtain plus n times x minus x0. This is slope point form. The first one is the slope intercept form. Why? Because here m is the slope and B is the y-intercept. Okay, here what is called the slope, M is the slope, and y0 and x0 are our point, our line passes to this point. Okay, I mean, quickly I will show that. The time is finished almost because I want to solve some question. So for example, this point is x0, y0, and you know the slope. So according to your slope, you can sketch this line. Okay, so your this point is there on the curve, and the slope is m. Okay, and here for this graph, I don't have a sufficient space. If I can create, let's try. Okay, so here you know the y-intercept, this is B. So according to this point, we can sketch the line. Okay, the slope is again M. According to the slope, graph will be chose the variety. Okay, let's look this question. I hope you will understand well on this example. So when the number of the club is 50, the daily cost is this one. When the number of the golf clubs is 70, the total cost is this one. Okay, so what we know that when X is 50, the price is 466.9. When X is 70, so this is our on the cost function. When X is 70, this is X golf clubs. Number of the golf clubs. This is Y, this is the cost. Okay, total cost. So when it's 70, the cost will be this value. So our line will be passes through to this 2 point. We know that this is a linear, actually it is given. Assume that the daily cost of the production are linear related, okay? So find the total daily cost function. So how we can find the total daily cost function? What is the slope? Let's write the slope from here. This distance is 569 minus 4,669. What is that value? Again, I want to use the calculator, otherwise I can make a mistake. Okay, this is 1,200. And this difference is 20. So the slope is 1,200 over 20, so which is 600. Okay, so the equation y equals mx plus b. We know the m, that's correct, but we don't know the y-intercept. So I don't prefer this one. Instead of this equation, I prefer the slope point equation. Y equals y0 plus m times x minus x0. By choosing the some point, for example, you can choose this point or another point, does not matter, but you have 2 points, so you should choose one of them. Yes.
I think 60.
Yes,
Yes,
60.
yes, you are right. Thank you. Yes. Thank you for your correction. 60. So here, by choosing some point, this point for this point does not matter. Y equals y0 is 4,669 plus slope is 60, x minus 50. So this is our equation. Okay, let's make some arrangement again. So the result y equals 60x. I should subtract 60 times 50 from the 4,000 blah blah blah. Okay, 60 times 50 equals 3,000. So this is plus 1,669. So this is our answer. Okay, so the cost function 60x plus 1,669, because it is according to this given information. This is important. Okay, linearly related. Okay, since this is linearly related, we can write cost function easily. Graph the total daily cost between 0 and 2,000. Okay, if x is 0, this value is 106,600, etc. So all starting point are okay. This is okay. Oh, sorry. It seems okay. It seems okay. It seems okay. But this is the wrong. So we eliminate the part D. And when x equal to 200, for example, what is the value? You can calculate. Actually, C of 0 is 1669. When c equals 300, let's calculate this value. 60 times 200 plus, this is 13, okay? 60 times 200, this is 1200 plus this value. So 1200, no, 1200, sorry. Okay, let's write. Yes, 1200 is correct. So the answer is 2869. Okay, so which one is the at that point? But it's very small.
No, you wrote wrong.
Yes, this is 200.
It should be.
Okay, thank you. 200. So thank you. Now this is correct. 13669. Okay, now this is correct. So which value is correct? This is not, when this is 200, this is bigger than the 3000, so this is wrong. Here 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. So we need 13. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, no, 10. So this is 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10, 20. So 2000. So 2000, 4000, 6000, 8000, 10,000. This value is 120,000. But it's exactly 120,000, so this is wrong. But it should be bigger than the 120,000. Where is the mistake? Okay. 2,000, 4,000, 6,000, 8,000, 10,000, 120,000. Okay, it is bigger than the 120, 140,000. Okay. So 120,000. So it is very close to the 140,000. So this is correct one. But here, 2,000, 4,000, 6,000, 8,000, 10,000. So this is less than the 10,000. So this is wrong. Okay. So the correct answer, the correct answer is B. Okay, so by looking at the two value is enough to decide the correct answer. Now here the focused one, yes. If you focus by clicking on part B, you will see this graph. Okay, so here it seems that 14,000, but it's not 14,000. Okay, so this is 13,669,000. Okay, this value is 1,669. So this is the correct answer. Let's look parts. Is there a problem for the graph? This is the line. So by observing these 2 points, you can decide. Or another clue can be used. Maybe here we know this 2 value also. When x is 50, y is this value, its cost is this value. If it is easy to observe that value from the graph, you can use this value also, okay? So interpret the slope and y-intercept, choose the correct answer. Okay, so at this calculation here, we find we start the slope point representation of the line, but we reach the slope y-intercept representation. So the y-intercept, this is the y-intercept. Okay, so this is y-intercept. So this is the slope. So the slope is 60. Choose the correct answer. The y-intercept is the fixed cost and the slope is the cost per club. So interpret the slope and y-intercept. Okay, here we should make some comments. Okay, so this is the cost function. So y-intercept is our fixed cost. Okay, so this is fixed cost. This is variable cost. At the beginning of the first hour, I said that. But altogether, this is variable cost. 60, the value 60 is the cost of each item. So the slope is cost of each item, and the y-intercept is the fixed cost. Okay, so we should find this one. The y-intercept is the fixed cost. This is correct. y-intercept is the fixed cost. Okay, this is correct. And the slope is the cost per club. This is also correct. Okay, so the correct answer is part A. Let's look to the second one. The fixed cost and the cost per club sum to the y-intercept. No, the fixed cost and the cost per club times demand give us the cost function. This is anyway wrong. The slope is the ratio of the two costs. It is not also correct, not the ratio of the two costs. This is the differences of the cost over the number of the item. Okay, maybe I should write something here. Slope differences of costs, two costs over differences of the number of the item. Okay, this is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So this sentence is also wrong. This is also wrong. The y-intercept is the cost per club and the slope is the fixed cost. This is vice versa. This is not the correct answer again. Okay, so this comment is very important. So please understand these comments. Okay, so for the cost function, again, I want to emphasize, don't forget, this is very important. Cost function equals fixed cost plus variable cost. And the variable cost equals cost of one item, for cost of each item, times, okay, times can be confused with the x. Let's write the times demand, x, demand, okay? Here, demand is the x variable, our x variable in this hour. At a price of 2.29 per bushels, I don't know pronunciation of this word, the supply of a certain grain is 700,300 million bushels. This is the supply, okay? This is the price. So we talk about the price cost function, but here we talk about the price supply function, okay? The supply is the, you should know, but if you don't know, demand is the produced number, supply is the buying number, okay? So in Turkish we say talep arz, so demand is arz, supply is talep in Turkish, okay? You can use the dictionary in your word, okay? So and demand is, also demand is given altogether. Demand and the supply will be given altogether, okay? At the price, with this price, supply is this one and demand is that one, okay? Find the price supply equation of the form. This is a linear again, and P is the price in the dollar and X is the supply in the millions of the rushes, okay? So it is given millions of the, so there is no problem, just we use this value, okay? This is dollar, so again this is the dollar, there is no problem. So for the price supply, let's use the price supply. This is price, this is supply, this is price, this is the supply. So the function or the slope, maybe first of all you can write the slope, or let's write directly by using the point formula, point slope formula. Y equals y0. Let's choose the first point. 7. Okay, let's write the equation first of all. Y0 plus m x minus x0. So y0, as a y0, I choose this one. Plus, I will write the slope x minus, so x0 is this one. Okay, and what is the slope? Slope, you can obtain the slope from the all demands. So this value minus this value. Minus this value over difference between the price, okay? 2.34. Please keep the order. This demand, this supply related with this price, this supply related with that price, so you should subtract this value, okay? Then you can find the your function, okay? So from here you should reach the, this equation, okay? I will not make calculation. And for the demand, you should use the demands. Okay, so y equals, but we should focus on the demand. Okay, let's choose another color. Demand is that one. Demand is this one. So here we should consider this one, and we should consider this price with the demand. Again, price are the same. So y minus y0, directly I will write the y0 as a 7,700, sorry, plus what is m? Let's write the m. Big one, we should subtract the small one from the big one. So I would choose the this sub demand 7,600. No, this is the big one. Okay, let's choose the big one. I don't want to write the negative value. So 7,700 minus 7,600 over what is the price when the demand is 7,700, 2.29. Anyway, it will be negative. Minus what is the price when the demand is 7,600, 2.34. 2.34 times x minus, we use the this value, so x0 should be related with that value. When the demand is 7,700, the price is 2.29, so we should choose the 2.29. So it should be 2.29. So from here, if you make arrangement, you will find this equation. Okay. Is there any problem how you can write the line equation? This is very important. Okay, if you know the 2 points, by using this 2 point, you can write. We use that formula. This is very important formula. Okay, for us.